out here.
Well, hold on. So now that you said everything's a work, right? Life's a work. Life's a work. So drink to remembering, wrestling reminding us that life's a work. But
like that.
What's interesting about this Cornette conversation is that Ryback gets thrown in the mix because WWE.
I think we're gonna do it. Let's do it,
yo. Ryback, shut the fuck up. All right, so look, no one said that yet? No one said shut the fuck up. All right, so look. So WWE account tweets like blank was the greatest blank champion, right? Some bullshit like that. And Ryback replies with like this really whack ass, corny ass, bubble bursting, wah crybaby ass response because he has a wet diaper and he's fucking tight as hell for no reason. All right. He had a great job in the E. Maybe he wasn't used where he thought he was going to be used, but guess what? You haven't done shit since. Okay, there, guy? All right, yeah, I'm some dude and I'm the fat fuck on the couch and you're a guy that did not
you wearing a poncho
wrestling for as much shit as you talk about it, right? But when you look at that tweet, right, Blank is Black, his reply was something along the lines of like, wrestling is a scripted program and the belt is a gimmick and nothing is a real blah, 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 blah.
The tone was verbatim.
What and why are you saying that? Because you got all these sour grapes because you didn't have a championship because you were a bland piece of stick of butter? What was Ryback in the WWE? They fed him jobbers. And the Shield destroyed him. He was a stepping stone for the Shield. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Have a nice day.
Yep.
And he hooked his dick. So exactly.
It runs in line with this whole theory of all wrestlers should get paid the same because they don't choose who wins or loses or their place on the card.
I love that.
It's this participation trophy level of thinking that's coming from Ryback,
and
right?
then he'll collect the check. He's just like he's another Kyrie fucking Irving. He loves his scripted sports. Holy fucking shit, my man! You want the check? You want the money? Come to work, papa. Yo, you want to be paid like a wrestler? You wanted the big cash? You wanted the big paydays? Guess what? You weren't over. Big deal. You didn't like it?
He's just projecting, guys. He's projecting because he heard the comments about Gargano and Candice LeRae, and he thought he felt it. That shit hurt. He's heard that shit before.
La mierda.
So he
had all the chances. I'm just saying. He had all the chances.
Here's
all the fucking chances.
Shut up, bitch. Here's the tweet. All right. Wrestling's fake, and the championships are props to market entertainers as champions. Nobody has actually ever won or lost a prop, except Jericho, as scripted physical entertainment is incapable of that. This tweet explains so much, though, on your TV deal with them.
All right. First of all, the WWE on Fox guy was just doing his job, so you don't need to come after him. But no, imagine some intern at Fox. Like, what did I do? Apparently, someone is very upset at me. But you see, this is the pulling the curtain back response because someone kept asking you to. You're not supposed to do it. There is a certain type of deal. Plus, a lot of us are aware that this is predetermined. And that's okay. But just to call it a prop, I don't, all that was going through my head, especially when Mission was reading his tweet, was from the Jericho and Owens ride along when Owens said that Ryback was supposed to crush an apple and he couldn't because he didn't want to take his gloves off. And Owens was like, why don't you take your gloves off? And he goes, well, Ryback has gloves. And Kevin's like, all right, buddy. Like, how do you want to put your own failed gimmick? Oh, no, Ryback has gloves. No.
Ryback's back.
You can look like a man on TV, and you don't want to because you have to keep your gloves on. No.
It wasn't original. His gimmick wasn't original at all. Not even the attire. He stole that shit from RVD. Fucking, come on.
It's just another example of the passion was never there. I mean, he's not that type. Maybe he's just not, the real wrestler guy that we thought he was. And that's probably why he picked it up again.
No, but remember, injuries played a role too. He had a couple neck
he
surgeries,
was
I
injured,
believe.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
he
I
was
think
hurt.
that probably plays a role why he has a podcast now. But
So
that also means that he didn't have enough. Try something else to the business, maybe, right?
Ryback needs to go back selling protein. Do your business there. But what's interesting about Cornette is that Cornette, for all his errors and all his ways, right? He's a piece of shit. But he always protected the business in a kind of way, right? Like it was always like, it's not real, but you know what I mean? Like it was always like he was always in character, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Like just as far as like wrestling is concerned, like it's scripted, but right in a way. So Jim Cornette responded, another disrespectful piece of shit. who would never have been allowed in the business before it all went to hell. Hey, fat guy, which is
true.
All right. Hey, fat guy, if you'd have said this in public 30 years ago, your fellow entertainers would have kicked the shit out of you, and rightfully so. Fuck you, signed Jim Cornette.
Yo, Jim Cornette has the balls the size of fucking
Corny B, corny. We gotta love it. Gotta love it sometimes, even though we hate him.
Jesus.
Kuda,
The
what do
size
you
of
think,
craters, yo.
Did
I mean, I
work?
don't. I mean, I hear where Cornette's coming from. It's the way that you phrased it is. It was basically guys like Cornette that refer to kayfabe but don't break it. It's very much that. Ryback is very willing to break it, and I understand a lot of it has either faded away or in some cases just died. You see heels and faces in public hanging out all the time. Everybody knows, but it's just if there's a place to keep the facade. Do it. Yeah. That's why social media has made it easier for wrestlers because you don't have to do it in your private life anymore. If you stay in character on Twitter, you're fine. If people see you in public, it doesn't matter as long as you're in character on Twitter. So, okay. I mean, I don't. Dude, Ryback just waits for these moments and he attempts to pounce and he misses horribly. That's what happens. So. I don't know.
Yo, he's shooting a shot.
Yep.
Polly and shit. Raindrop!
Shout out to Low K Polly.
Wait, but I want to know, JJ, how did Ryback block you? How did Ryback block you? What you do?
Yo, JJ talking shit about Ryback, rightfully so. She was just talking truths. She was like, Ryback's tights are tight. And he was like, block! Give me more block. Yo. So we were talking about beefs before, right? You know what's a beef that I thought
beef
was
with broccoli.
Interesting? Beef and broccoli, right? Beef and broccoli, 100% beef. So Alicia Toot, shooting alum, plug, right?
He's spoken to her.
Plug. Alicia Toot interview with HPC Too Sweet. Check it out on all your favorite platforms. But the fact of the matter is, Alicia Toot's a sweetheart, and here she is as one of the main interviewers here on MLW, right? Making a name for herself, doing a thing. Great at her job. Really impressive. For real. So she's got a storyline, work situation, shoot situation with Selena, and they're going back and forth on Twitter, and I love it because Selena does not fuck around. Selena shut her shit down mad times. Old school, you saw
it? So Selena, I feel like don't we got a shooting the issue with her as well?
Woo,
oh yeah.
This is just alums everywhere. There's alums everywhere. I think we do that one again. Can we do a next one? Yo, can we hit her?
Absolutely. But we might have to ask her bodyguard now. You know what I mean? Because she had a bodyguard now, aka boyfriend. But yo, they were going in on Twitter though.
I'm gonna read the last tweet by Selena De La Renta, right? So they go back and forth, and Alicia too is like, I'm gonna be interviewing the spawn of Satan, blah 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 blah, right? So Selena De La Renta responds. If I'm the spawn of Satan, you are Jesus's nuts. But first, ask away. Yeah, girl, that's what I like. That's what I'm talking about. Get the heat, baby.
Yo.
Get that heat.
Yo, why you come after the Canadian
I had
like
to
that?
double look to see if I was like, what the fuck? She didn't type that. I'm like, oh shit, she fucking wrote that shit.
I told you she was wilding.
And then Alicia like trying to work it out. She's like, the fuck you, bitch. Like, straight up. I'm like, wow.
Take my money. Come on, please. Take my money.
Hey, yo, and Selena just debuted Mi Muertes. on MLW. That faction, Promoción Doradas, looking nice. Very nice.
I can't. Shout out to MLW, man. Back at it again, man. We appreciate it, man.
Kuda, you watch MLW? You on that?
I am not terribly familiar with MLW, I must admit.
Highly recommended, man.
Wednesday nights.
All right.
They're like the Moneyball of pro wrestling.
YouTube, baby.
All right.
Yo, for real.
Man.
For the fans, Brian Pillman Jr., you're seeing him at AEW now. Oh. He was at MLW. That was home for a bit for him.
Oh man,
MJF.
He had a faction with Heart Foundation faction in there. MJF came from MLW. Yup.
I know he cut his teeth in the Indies, but MJF did a run at MLW, man.
The first middleweight champion they had.
Right.
Yeah. They do big things out there in MLW and Queens, and I can't wait to get back out there, man. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, ladies and gentlemen.
But some beef. You talking about beef with broccoli, right?
Yeah.
Beef. Like I said before, Red Velvet.
Yeah.
That look like some beef.
Yeah, they were smacking away.
You saw that, Like, Red Velvet is really short. I either did not realize exactly how tall Jade was, or I did not realize how short Red Velvet was.
I like how she be fucking Cody around and shit. Got my face, Cody.
If Jade can wrestle, because I don't know what her ring work looks like, but if she can wrestle, boy, that girl got a problem. And honestly, if she can't, she'll be a tremendous manager a la Selena De La Renta.
Ooh, okay.
But she's also also brolic, so she could be an enforcer. Like
she could be China.
Yeah.
You want to make her know
she looks good at what she's doing too. You know what I'm saying? But other beef. What other beef is happening right now?
Oh, you want to know beef? Mr. Hello, ladies.
Ooh.
Not talking to the ladies no more. Yo, my man was banned from Twitter for posting some crazy stuffs. Y'all already know what it was if y'all know. But he's making some crazy headways, man. He's been at it for the whole last 2 weeks with this shit, man. He's really Val Venus is really going against the Democratic Party.
My bingo card did not have Val Venus just losing his shit in 2020. Like, that was not.
It wasn't even on the middle.
Didn't they chop his dick off? Like, why is it still
Listen, after so many times greeting people and you get no response, you're going to go crazy. Hello, ladies. Nobody ever said shit.
They did at first, but Vince made them.
Ooh, we brought it up earlier. Go ahead, talk, bring it up.
So, speaking of Vince making you do things you don't want to do, as he has quite the reputation of doing, someone that's got to be somewhere is Lita, and rightfully so. You guys, any of you guys heard about what Lita said on her Twitch stream?
Nah.
Oh, yeah.
Talking reckless.
She was against the live sex scene that essentially happened between her and Edge, and she was pretty much told she didn't do it, she was gonna get fired.
Yo, she did not want to do that live sex scene. She told Vince she didn't want to do that live sex scene. Edge told Vince he didn't want to do it. A couple people told Vince. He was like, I like it, do it anyway. She said that on a Twitch stream, dog. Now, that's the same sex scene where her titty popped out on live TV. Right? Made me a man that day. I'm just saying, like, consider in all seriousness, right? Consider
most rewatched scenes in Sharon Stone and Basic.
She was put out there in that kind of rapey situation against her will with it. And then, like, that was one of the results, was like a booby popping out. And then she retired because of it. And on the way out, JTG and Primetime was selling her shit in a wholesale. So you get buried.
What?
Yeah. Do you?
That was the part that got me.
Do you remember the end of Lita's run? Like, she went out like a chump. Like they made her look really bad.
Oh yeah, I
and
remember
that was
that.
the month after Trish went out on top.
Right. Trish went
Yeah,
out like
yeah.
a queen.
That's crazy,
Buddha, what do you think,
man.
You see, that's interesting. I mean, you don't want anybody to do anything they don't want to do. And yes, Vince has that reputation. So he pulled the boss card and said, if you don't do it, I'll fire you. Now,
Yeah.
So
I don't support that. But at the same time, the job is the job. Now, I'm not defending Vince. I'm not. You don't go that far. But it caused her to retire eventually. Other things followed it up. It's a very unfortunate situation. But I understand her bringing it up. And good for her. I mean, to speak out. You always speak out if you have the chance. So,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate. And here's the other thing, at least for me personally, it's not a segment I'm gonna go find. I'm not gonna rewatch it. It's not. It wasn't, because I feel like it was supposed to be 15 times what it was, and then everyone was so unhappy with it that what we saw was the severely watered down version. And then once it got to a certain point, he just had Cena go out and ruin it. He said, "Dude, just go now. It's too far. Everybody already hates me."
You gotta kind of remember though too. Those times is different times than now too.
Candice Michelle came out speaking about it too. You know, she said definitely it was awkward in that time, but it was the job, right? She had a bunch of romantic scenes with Vince, you know, touching the cleavage and whatnot. It was awkward, and it seemed like the locker room was like that back then. And we know this. If you were a fan of the 90s, why were you a fan? Because you might see some titties on Monday Night Raw.
Yo, you talk about promoting puppies every other Monday.
There was a reason why they showed you the copyright again at the later time at 9 o'clock, because it was about to get extreme. They had the Generation X. Like, this is what it was.
And to be honest, the proof was in the ratings, because they wouldn't be doing the shit if it wasn't working.
Yo, hold on.
It's crazy.
How about
though,
the beef
man,
that JJ got with the heels, the AW heels right now? Son?
I heard they got a lot of heat, yo.
I heard that shit was trash. That ass. Like, that they don't, the fucking, so number one, right? It was supposed to be like a community of women, like female wrestling fans and blah, 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 blah. With a lot of like the talent interaction to foster that kind of community. Right, because like, I mean, let's be real. Like with a lot of these virgins, the way they act out and hanging out, right, they make women feel uncomfortable. So it's hard. I understand it's hard to be a wrestling fan, like especially when you get that kind of booking, right? You know, piggybacking on what we just talked about, like it's hard to be a female wrestling fan. So this, in essence, was a great idea, right? Kind of foster that. And apparently, what has happened is that like none of the talent go on. They've kind of like abandoned it as a general concept, right? Shit. So it's kind of like crazy. No, because I've heard this from several people. Like, it's just like it hasn't been any, like, the way it was marketed was like this big deal that like they're gonna be on top of, and it's always gonna be like this kind of flowing, living, breathing community. And it's just been like, yo, let me get your money real quick. All right, man, thanks, peace.
It caught flack from like Jump Street though. Like when the platform came out. The fans were coming on, and then they were asking like storyline questions, and Brandy flipped. Like, she got hot about it because that wasn't her vision of what was supposed to go on within this community, and she didn't handle it very well for someone who's supposed to be like the VP of communication, right? Like, that's her shtick.
I'm glad you
Our
said
boy
that.
Fowl was talking about that to us too. Last time he was on too, he was mentioning that.
Cool.
That same exact thing.
What do you think, yo? Because I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I'm gonna use part of a comedian's stand-up bit to illustrate this. I'm going to come off somewhat misogynistic, but I'm going to say it.
Oh, everybody record this. All right,
every guy has what we call a douchebag test. Let me give you the example. A guy's wearing the goofiest shoes you've ever seen. And if you walk up and say, "Bro, what's with the shoes?" If they go, "These are my favorite shoes," douchebag. If they go, I'm gonna wear these shoes as long as you wear that shirt, brother. Like that's a douche. Like that's why we can get along with any guy. I'm sorry, but if the concept was a bunch of women getting along just by coming together, you need another incentive. It's not. It's and that's all it took. Like Joe said, like old school said, it just took one of them to be unhappy, and then they're all just like, "Well, this isn't working. Let's get out of here." Well, if it's a bunch of guys, it's like, okay, that guy sucks. Kick him out, and we'll all figure this out. It's just a different attitude to me.
But part of the problem is at the top, don't you think, Kuda? Because like Brandy was the one, in my opinion, right? I mean, I wasn't there. All I know is what I kind of read online and what was told to me. And honestly, I could be wrong. But if you're going to foster a sense of community around wrestling, you have to expect that a certain percentage is going to be interested in storyline type conversations. There's got to be a part of the Reddit, right? There's got to be a part of the forum that lends itself to storyline exploration, and otherwise extemporaneous kind of chatter. You know what I mean? You can't just say, "Oh, we're just gonna talk like whatever."
Yeah,
right?
I mean, especially in the era where there's so many subscription-based platforms that you get content, right? You get exclusive content. That's what everybody wants. If you're paying a monthly fee, they figured it came with it. But, you know, I think in the grand scheme of things, I think they have something there that they don't know what to do with it yet. And I think the fact that they have a platform is the most important part. The pieces will come together. There'll be some leaders within that community that'll make it work. There will be a movement because remember, on this show, we've talked many times about the shit that happens to women in professional wrestling. It is not right. And this may be a way to cultivate that, to bring awareness, to make sure that, like Mitch just said, that when you go to an event, you have people with you. You have a support system, and you don't feel weirded out because it can get wild.
It can.
But
That's got
to get fostered from the top down. Like you can't have a fucking the CEO communications or whatever.
Oh no, she needs to pass that shit over. She's going on maternity leave. She's fine. But
the point.
No, I didn't mean her. But like that'll trickle down.
There's a culture there where
as long as it's not Yolanda Saldivar, you're good, yo.
Yo. It's borderline. Yo, Cody goes on and like he rants on Twitter about like certain people and like the way they perceive or they comment on the product and blah blah, and like he's not the only one. It just seems to like have kind of insecure kind of air to it. Like that's a big contrast that I see between AEW and WWE. Is that WWE is the kind of company that does not give a fuck. It is a steamrolling bullet train that will not stop for anything. All right.
To be fair, that's it now. To be fair, that's it now.
Right? They just offered Donald Trump another Hall of Fame thing. That's how
they did
controversy they are. No,
they
man.
did?
No, man. Are you fucking kidding me? Yo, that'd be fucking wild. But they're the kind of company that just dolphin flips into controversy. They don't give a shit. AEW needs to not be that. They need to be a little bit more careful in the way they navigate the waters. They don't have the depth of experience, the breadth of the wrestling business to really be able to like
they don't have the foundation,
survive extensive weakness to criticism.
They also have a lot. They're doing a lot, man. AEW is doing a lot. They got their hands in many pots, and not all of it's gonna work right away. Not all of it will work at all. Who knows? Give it time. Maybe turbulence in every flight, right?
Listen. Supply meets demand. AEW started. They were building on the wave while I was already in flight. You know, they're still putting the shit together. Yeah. There's a lot with it, and on top of that, we in a pandemic, folks. Let's not forget. We still in a pandemic. Remember.
Oh,
shit is crazy.
And